Hello beer tubers and welcome to another beer review with me, Peter, the master of hoppers. Today checking out some smoky beer from Gamma Brewing. What I'm really surprised by is seeing a craft brewery in Denmark nowadays doing these styles, or at least smoked styles. Smoked styles is something you see rarer and rarer nowadays. It seems like it's having a revolution in the States. But one of my all-time favorite beer styles is Rauchbier, and apparently Jacob at Gamma also has that as one of his favorite beer styles. And same goes for Philip as well as at Urban, which is amazing. Rauchbier is a famous style you might know if you're into craft beer and beer in general, and a very old style of beer, which is a smoked beer. And if it's traditional Rauchbier, it's smoked lagers originating from the Bamberg area. Historically, lots of beer would have been smoky because it was a way to dry malts before you used kilns and things like this. But this will be, just the first time I think they have a dip into smoky beers at Gamma Brewing. And the fun thing is Gamma Brewing is very well known for making hazy IPAs, but they've really been trying to do a few different things now as well, which is awesome. Just expand their horizon, I guess, a bit, and also just try some new things, which is awesome. So we got two releases from them. One of which is a smoked lager, a Rauchbier. This is cold smoke. And then we got Crackle, which is a smoked porter. So yeah, I saw these on their website. I was like, yeah, I have to give these a go because it's so rare you see this style around, in Denmark and see craft breweries do it. So I really thought I should check them out. There is a handful for sure, and there is, I think, the most well-known Danish one is Krinkelbrauch. That's done a lot, and to be honest, it's decent, but it ain't got nothing on Schlenkerla. That's still like the best in my book. But it'll be fun. Like, I've got some American stuff to try too, and it seems like that's slowly becoming a thing in the States, and even some craft stuff, smoky stuff from Poland. But yeah, the cold smoke is a Rauchbier, and I'm taking this one is inspired by Schlenkerla's Helles Lager, which is a smoky Helles. Well, technically it's not smoky, but because they use the same equipment and use the same yeast as for the other Rauchbiers, they're at least lager ones, you get a smoky character in the beer. Not much info on these beers either, in terms of looking them up online, except that it says barley, hops, and yeast, and that it's a Rauchbier. So that's pretty interesting. And this one is 5.6%, and the smoked porter here, Crackle, is 4.8, and this one also has oats, so otherwise the same thing. So I think we're actually going to start with this first because they're both slightly. They're cold. They're out of the fridge, and I think this can sit and warm for a bit longer. So I think we're going to start with this, even though it's stronger. And maybe I should do it the other way around, but this is what I feel like doing because usually when I've had Schlenkerla's Helles, I've drunk it cold. So pours a very similar color to that beer as well. It's a lightly golden yellow hue. It looks like something like a Helles lager. It's not like that pin bright yellow, but often Helles lagers look more like this than pin bright yellow. It has a bit of a slight hazy twang to it, but it is kind of pin bright yellow. I guess it's just also, if I had a light shining through the back of the glass, it'd look more yellow. Not crazy amounts of carbonation, but there's some there. The head that was there kind of faded away really quickly, but let's check out the aroma. I can smell beechwood smoked malt from here, which I'm guessing is what they're going to be using. That's the most common malt to be used in Rauchbier. But let's check out the aroma on cold smoke. Ooh, that smells really nice. It really reminds me of Schlenkerla's Helles. It's definitely in something like that. It's interpreted by that. Maybe more smoky because it's actually brewed with smoked malt. Like, it's not as subtle as in, well, maybe it's not subtle, but it's less subtle than in Schlenkerla's Helles. I guess the unfiltered one has maybe a bit more smoke akin to this. But yeah, it's bacony, meaty smoke with a soft, bready malt underneath. The smoke definitely dominates. There's an interesting hop character too. It's almost lightly soapy or something like that, but otherwise, just a super light, grassy, maybe slightly peppery hop character. But yeah, the smoke is dominating, and it's like a very nice, fresh, bready malt base. But yeah, let's check it out. Cheers. You can crush so much of this. So much. That's really refreshing. I wish it had a little bit more carbonation, but because it's almost borderline dull. But some Helles at some breweries in Germany, they are kind of like this. And in terms of Rauchbier, I don't know. They are not necessarily as, soft as this is. Again, it really depends on the brewer and whatnot. I think I remember Stinkella's Helles as being much more effervescent than this, and also like it had a much more stable head. The last time I had that beer, the unfiltered one, at least, because that was the last one I had. But it's definitely in that vein. But just it's lacking a little bit on some of the layers of soft complexity that beer has, and then I don't know if the smoke is overpowering. To me, it's not, and I think it suits this kind of beer as well. And I wonder if they tried to do it like this, to try to do it as a gateway beer, but to try and get people into the style. But it's a style that's so hard for people to get into, and I kind of see why, because not a lot of people associate smoky, meaty flavor with their beer. But I love it. Really, really tasty. It has a touch of a sweet malt thing, slightly like sweet bready flavor, almost like there's like it's not sugary, but there's definitely a touch more sweetness than I personally prefer. But super soft finishing, like dryness on the end there as well. It's not like crazily bitter or anything, which is quite nice. Often Helles are more constructed of these very soft, light kind of beers. They often have hop characters, but they're not necessarily very bitter. They're just more soft and gentle lager beers, and it tastes like something like that, but then with that touch of smoke. Again, the smoke is kind of bacony, meaty, slightly smoke woodiness. It definitely tastes like beechwood smoked malt. And a little bit of a snappy, peppery, also floral hop character. It's not really soapy on the flavor. I wish it just had a little bit more uplifting carbonation, but I still think this is really good. And people are rating this so abysmally low. At least some are, not everyone. But it's just like when it's not haze and super fruity, people can't give things high grades. Stop, please. It's like so stupid. It's not up there with the likes of the Stenkellas. It's not to that level. But I would be super stoked if I brewed this. I think it's a very well made Rauchbier, and a fun tribute to Stenkellas Helles, and a lighter, more chuggable, easygoing Rauchbier. I mean, you could smash pint after pint of this because it doesn't get cloying, because there's not as much malt or dark malts as there is in like the Märzen, even though that beer I could also crush a lot of. But yeah, fantastic Rauchbier. Very great start. I hope this will mean that Gamma will try and do more, even though this is going to take a while to sell, because that's just how it is with these styles, I guess, at least here in Denmark. I mean, they still have it on their own web shop, but I really hope they will try and play around with this, because this is fucking awesome. I wish for some Danish breweries to do more of that, or stuff like this. Rauchbier is such an underappreciated style. But let's try and jump over to Crackle, the smoked porter. So here I'm expecting probably more gentle smoke than on the Rauchbier, because Rauchbier is usually full on smoke. Smoked porters are often more gentle, and smoked porter is also something I've always really enjoyed. I think one of the most biggest standout smoked porters, at least from back in the day, is something like Alaskan smoked porter. But let's dive in. So pour is a nice black color with some reddish and brown hues in the glass. It looks pretty much what you'd expect from a lower strength porter, and it had a nice kind of beige head when poured out. So let's check out the aroma on this one. Yeah, it's much more gentle. Much, much more gentle. And maybe it seems even more gentle because this is so full on. There is a bit of an oaty sweetness, which is usually something I do not associate with porters. I associate it with oatmeal stouts. But I guess they didn't use, probably didn't use like roasted barley or something like that. And they probably used some chocolate malts or something, because it's a very soft, toasty, slightly roasty character in here. And I think, I might remember wrong, but I think stouts classically always had roasted barley, and porters had not, didn't have that. It's like kind of like the Guinness dry stout thing. But yeah, it's very nutty, very toasty, very bready. It smells really old school, and then it has like a touch of that sweet kind of oatmeal aroma. And there is some smoke. I think it's maybe even more campfire-like in this and burnt woody smoke, whereas this is full-on meat. But it smells nice. Let's try it. Cheers. That's also something you can drink quite a lot of. I think the smoke is definitely more apparent on the flavor. That's pretty good. So one of the fun things also with beers like this, like people often critique these for being light and easy, soft, like maybe watery, whatever, thin-bodied. Like it's a 8% stout. What 4.8? What do you expect? Like, do you expect full fat mouthfeels of imperial stout in a beer that's session strength? Come on. This is pretty much what I'd expect when I read, standard porter. I could maybe have some more fluffiness to it, which would be nice, but in terms of style, I think it's quite fitting. It's pretty dead on. There's even a light hint of a stewed fruitiness, but it's super light. It's toasty. There's maybe more of a roasty note there on the back end, so maybe there is some roasted malt in there. I'm not sure, or roasted barley. Yeah, a decent bittering on the back too. Nothing crazy, but there's definitely like a touch of a biting bitterness, almost like nettly or something like that. And then there's like that touch of smoke, but the smoke in this again comes forth as more of as a more charry, toasted, woody kind of smokiness. Again, I could also crush loads of this because it's super easy going. I would have loved a little more smoke, but I think it's very well integrated into the beer still because it's a porter, so you still want to taste some of the nuances. It shouldn't be like a dark kind of Rauchbier type thing. But which one do I prefer? It's easy money, man. This. There is a little bit of a corny thing sipping on it now, again, like sweet corn or something like that. Just for a second, that was gone. I think it's just a sweetness in there, and there's like a cereal grain profile, and for some reason I just like, or maybe just like sweet cereal, sugary sweet cereal grain. There's a little bit of that, and then like the bitterness of the hops comes into play in the aftertaste, but it's super soft and subtle, and then you're transitioning into that smoke. The more I'm drinking this, the more I'm digging it. It's really good, I think more people should definitely seek this one out if they love smoked beers, and I think this has made it outside of Denmark too. This is a great first interpretation of Rauchbier, and I'll hopefully look forward to see many more from Gamma. So yeah, my favorite, but this one is also still nice for an easygoing, very enjoyable smoked porter. Ratings, straight 90 for the Rauchbier cold smoke, and an 88 for the smoked porter. Like, it's nice, but I would maybe have just a touch more smoke, and then I'd be a bit more just like super excited. But I've never been crazy excited about lower strength stout and porters. They're nice once in a while, and they are, as they're supposed to be like this. They're not supposed to be fat and crazy and thick. But when we're talking darker beers, I've always gravitated towards drinking the stronger stuff and the heavier stuff. And then if I want something sessionable, I'll drink something like this. And that's just always kind of how my palate's been. Unless it's been like Black IPA or whatever, or hoppy beers, or even started to really enjoy like just, slightly darker lagers that are well hopped can also be really good. But yeah, very nice first, foray into smoke beers. I don't know if they've done anything else like this actually, to be honest, but they did a good job this time around. So if you guys get a chance to check out Gamma Brewing's Crackle Smoked Porter or a Cold Smoke Rauchbier, let me know what you thought of them. I love that it's called Cold Smoke too. Makes so much sense because it's a lager too. It's awesome. So yeah, if you guys had them, let me know what you thought of them. As always, remember to comment, subscribe, check out the Facebook fan page and Twitter and Instagram. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and ring the bell for future notifications about videos. And I'm going to say cheers, my favorite. See you guys in another video.